I really hate telling stories like this, but you know, sometimes when I have an extreme example, I just have to share it. You know, a bad customer service experience is what I'm talking about. Hey everybody, this is Steve Miller, better known as Kelly's dad and marketing gunslinger. Welcome to another episode of Uncopyable Business, which is my weekly program to help you guys grow your business by separating yourself from the competition, creating higher value propositions, uncopyable propositions. Anyway, so what am I talking about? All right, I have a Jeep Grand Cherokee. It's an old Jeep Grand Cherokee. It's a 2006, I believe. But it's only got about 130,000 miles on it, which is not bad. But the fact of the matter is that for the last several years, I've only driven it about 4,000 or 5,000 miles a year. So, you know, when I'm home, it works fine, right? And occasionally something does break down. Well, last week, the air conditioning broke down. And we're starting to get heat here in Seattle. So I'm driving around and, you know, I'm sweating and stuff like that. I also know that there was, from the last time I had the Jeep in for service, they had said something about, oh, checking the brake pads and some struts or I don't know. Anyway, so my smoking hot wife, Kay, while I was out of town last week, my smoking hot wife, Kay, calls, makes an appointment. Now, the first issue that she had was that she had a really hard time getting through. And we've had this issue. And the name of the dealership is Bud Clary, Jeep, Chrysler, Hyundai, whatever. They've got them all, right? And it's always been an issue to call them up to get a service appointment, to talk with somebody in service, because you just call and it rings and rings and rings and rings. It'll ring 30, 40 times, and either goes to this just generic voicemail, or eventually the receptionist picks up the phone and is no help. You know, she just says, oh, sorry, all I can do is put you in voicemail. Anyway, so Kay had a very hard time getting an appointment, which she finally did for Friday morning at 8:30. So I took the Jeep in Friday morning at 8:30 to a very nice service manager, and I will not share his name as much as I want to. I will not share his name. But anyway, so he was very nice. So this is Friday morning at 8:30. He says, Steve, your Jeep should be ready later this afternoon. And I said, okay, that's cool. You know, if it's ready later this afternoon, there's a chance that Kay and I might have to be running around elsewhere, so I may not pick it up till Saturday morning, tomorrow morning. But let me know, you know, what's going on. You know, let me know what the estimate is so that we can rock and roll on this. And he said, yep, no problem. All right. So the day goes by, gets to be about 2:30. I have not heard anything, not a word. So I call in to find out what is the status and what is the estimate for the Jeep. Run into the same problem. It rings 25, 30 times, goes to voicemail. I call back, rings 25, 30 times. Finally, the receptionist answers the phone. She says, well, I'll go leave a message for him and have him call you. I said, thank you. So an hour goes by, no call back. So I call again and finally get through, you know, to one of the other service managers, answers the phone, and I said, I really need to talk to find out the status of my Jeep. And he said, well, I can't answer that for you. You have to talk to your service manager. So anyway, so it moves over. Finally, my service manager gets on the phone with me, and you know, and I ask him what's going on. He goes, oh, it's you know, they've been working on it, you know, since 1 o'clock, and it's, you know, they should be getting it going pretty, you know, they're checking the air conditioning to make sure there's no leaks or anything like that. You know, I should be able to let you know the status of it pretty quickly. And I said, okay, pretty quickly. What does that mean? You're going to call me back, right? And he says, yeah, I'll call you back in a little while, okay? So, you know, about a half an hour later, he does call me back, okay, just the one time, and he said, and he proceeds to share with me this story about how they're trying to find a leak and stuff like that. I said, okay, fine. It gets to be, you know, now we're talking about, you know, it's about 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and I said, so 5:30, you know, 5:30ish or something like that. And I said, so you're going to call me back and let me know what the estimate is and all that sort of stuff. And he kind of was kind of acted like he was confused, like, oh, I didn't give you that estimate. Oh, I thought you were just. Then he's like, okay. Oh, wait. I'm sorry. I'm talking to the wrong person. I'm calling the wrong miller. I have more than one miller on my list here. And so I'm going, okay, fine. He goes, I'll call you right back. And then he calls me back another, half an hour later, and finally says, oh yeah, they're working on it, and I won't be able to give you an answer till after they get back to me and tell me what's wrong. So I'm going, okay, please call me and let me know what's going on. All right. So an hour or so goes by, no call back. So I call in again. No, they're closed. The service department is closed. And they are gone, and all I get is a voicemail, and it says we're closed now. We'll be open tomorrow morning, Saturday morning. So I have no choice. I have no answers or anything like that. So it goes to Saturday morning. Saturday morning, I wait till 9:30. At 9:30, I finally called because I got no calls. I finally call. It rings and rings and rings for 30, 40 times. Finally the receptionist answers, and I said, I need to talk to this gentleman. She goes, he's not in today. It's his day off. So I said, okay, well, I need to talk to another service manager to find out what's going on with my car, with my Jeep. And she says, well, there's only 2 on duty right now, and they're really stressed. They're really working hard. They got a lot of people in line, so all I can do is leave them a message. I said, fine, please leave them a message. All right, ask him to call me. So, an hour goes by, nothing. I call up, and it goes through the whole thing again. Gets to the receptionist, and I said, "Look, please, you got to help me here. You're my only contact." She goes, "There's nothing I can do, sir. All I can do is give him the message." And I said, "Okay. So what do I do? What do I do? You're my only contact here, right?" She goes, "Please don't be upset with me, sir. All I can do is just give them a message." And she says, "They are very busy. There are a lot of people in line that they need to talk to first." I said, "What do you mean they need to talk to first? They can't call me in between one of them? Since I am a customer, I dropped it off yesterday at 8:30. And she says, "Well, no, sir. The people who are here are the priority. They have to take care of them first before they can call you." So I said, "Look, I want to hear back from somebody." So ultimately, about an hour later, I get a phone call from a guy who is one of the service managers there. Turns out it was his day off. His name is and he takes charge of the thing, and he says, "I'm sorry, but your car has not even been looked at yet. Nobody has looked at your car. No work has been done on your car." And he was very nice, and I finally said, "Well, that does it. I'm coming in to get my Jeep." And he said, "Okay." So I went in and got it. Took really, really good care of me. But here's the situation. Okay, there are 5 things that Bud Clary Auburn Jeep did wrong. And this is a cultural problem at Bud Clary. It's not just a customer service and a customer experience problem. This is a cultural problem at Bud Clary. And so anybody who's in the area, I'm going to recommend you just don't go to Bud Clary for any service or anything like that. But let's go back through this thing and let's talk about it. Number 1, expectations. When you are talking to a customer and you are telling the customer what's going to happen, you are managing their expectations. So when I dropped off the Jeep on Friday morning, he should have told me how busy they were, because the next morning explained to me, he said, "Oh yeah, we are overburdened. We are we don't have enough staff to handle this." And I said, "Well, why wasn't something being done on Saturday morning?" He said, "Simple." He said, it's a team thing. He said, each service manager has their own tech team, and your service manager's team was not working on Saturday. They were done on Friday, and they wouldn't be back till Monday. So nothing was going to happen. But he told me it would be ready Friday afternoon. He told me that. And then he told me he'd keep calling me back. So he did not manage. If he had just told me, what was going on, I probably would have been happier. So number one is when you are talking with a customer and you are managing their expectations. Okay. Number two, answer the phone. If somebody is if your customers are calling and every time it takes them 25 or 30 rings to get to you, I guarantee you they are unhappy. They are unhappy. Answer your phone, Bud Clary Jeep Auburn. Okay. Number three, own the problem. All right. Everybody that I talked to, except for my service manager, basically said, until I talked to Robert, I'll give him the credit, they did not own the problem. It was not their problem. It was always, I'm sorry, sir, but there's nothing I can do for you. I have to give a message to your service manager. And it wasn't just the receptionist who said that. It was another service manager who said that. So they had no interest in handling my problem, and it was very, very clear that they didn't want to handle my problem. They were passing it off to him, and and if he didn't respond to me, well, too bad, right? So that was it. It's everybody's job there to take care of the customers. Number four is do what you said you were going to do. If you tell me you're going to have my Jeep ready in the afternoon, have my Jeep ready in the afternoon. If something happens, call me and tell me what's going on so that I can make a decision about it. If you tell me you're going to call me back, don't wait 2 hours to call me back or just to blow me off, which is exactly what this service manager did Friday afternoon, on the last phone call, when he said he was going to call me back and let me know what the estimate was and what was going on, and then he just blew me off. And he took off for his weekend, and he figured I'll just handle this guy on Monday. All right. And number five, tell the truth. Tell the truth. He lied to me. He said they would get to my Jeep on Friday, they would be done with it on Friday, and he continued. And then when he said, oh yeah, they're working on it right now, and as I found out later on from Robert, it had not gotten anywhere. There had been no work done on it. So he lied to me. That is huge. So for those of you that live in the Pacific Northwest or in the Seattle area, and you get your Jeeps, I would tell you, you probably need to find a different dealership than Bud Clary Auburn Jeep, because it's not good over there. That's a bad situation. So hope you learn from those five things. I hate it. My Jeep the air conditioning still doesn't work, but at least I've got my Jeep back. This is Steve Miller, better known as Kelly's dad and marketing gunslinger. I'll be back again next week with another uncopyable business. In the meantime, always remember, be uncopyable. Boy, Bud Clary ticked me off.